This episode of the T4 Show is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly. All streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/GFQ. Hey everyone, welcome to the T4 Show. This is episode number 140, and it is May 8th, 2013. My name is Michael Manna. Yes, I have a brand new microphone. We're going to talk about that. Hopefully it sounds very good. But you know what? We got somebody else here. Colm is not here because he tried, unsuccessfully I should add, to get to the Nationals game. We have John, Suncast. Usually see his face every time there's a post about the T4 Show. If you go all the way to the bottom and make a comment, John is the person that posts and pretty much keeps the website running. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Great. How do I sound?
You sound like so much better. Like it's a huge difference what that microphone does compared to what you had.
Are you patronizing me? Are you?
No,
I'm
no,
serious.
No. I'm just look. It's great whenever somebody upgrades to better equipment. I mean, we all have to start somewhere. And there's so many different microphone choices out there. You just don't always know what to get the first time around.
Yeah, you know what's funny is now what I'm using here is the Heil PR40. It's a lot of different podcasts. Seems to be the standard lately in the past couple of years for podcasting. I did have this mic before, and for my voice, I've had quite the quest to try to find the perfect microphone. So even in the back of my mind, I'm like saying, "Oh my God, is this going to be the microphone I'm going to stay with for the next couple of years or even longer?" And also, of course, you say I sound great. And then your next question is, oh, are you going to get the DBX 286S? That is a mic. Yep. It's just now the arms race has begun, and I need to keep upgrading my weapons to make me sound good. But for now,
you're on GFQ now, so
it's big time. Big time. So for now, I sound fine. For at least episode 140, I'm okay, right?
You sound great. I mean, you really do. It makes a big difference over the SM58.
And you know what? I got a hell of a deal because I ordered it yesterday through Amazon Prime, arrived in my office today for $279 plus $4 overnight shipping. And now, look at it, $327. Did I get a deal or what?
Wow. That's a big difference, too. That's like over $30.
That's $50, man. The 279 and to 327. It's about $50.
Crazy.
Damn. John Bland says bam in the chat room. If you're in the chat room, we're going to be monitoring it during the show, so please try to join in and everything. If you're listening and watching video post, please join us in the chat room. Register your nickname. Sometimes we do giveaways and other fun stuff. We want to know who you are and not where you live. That's okay. So there's been an ongoing thing, and I know, John, you watch all the stuff on the GFQ network, probably to the point where you want to blow your brains out. But if you've been following the past few episodes of the T4 Show, I've been experimenting with prepaid services, and the first experiment that I did was the Straight Talk experiment, and that has now come to an end. And I have to say, it was a great experience, John, but I still have to hang on to the unlimited data plan from AT&T. I cannot let this grandfathered plan go. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know.
So
what's wrong?
Why do you have to hold on to it versus Straight Talk?
Well, the one thing that I noticed was 3 days into my usage of the month. Now, this was a day or two after Straight Talk. I looked at my AT&T usage, minutes, text, and of course data, because that's going to be the most important part. I used up 275 megs within 3 days. Now, with Straight Talk, there are rumors out there, and a lot of people, they're justified rumors because they've experienced it. They get their they get their service cut off after 2 gigs. Like basically, Straight Talk can cut you off and cancel your service if you use up too much data. Now, I've heard mixed stories that they even throttle you down to 2G, but do not cancel you. But either way, it's a crapshoot. So for me, I took that into consideration, plus the fact that I'm probably going to upgrade to an LTE device. And Colm told me once you do that, you'll never look at Straight Talk again because it's HSPA plus.
Well, that's one of the reasons I actually ended up going with Verizon is that I had T-Mobile at the time about half a year ago, and I was like, I'm fed up with this non-LTE stuff, and I just want something fast. And I know that Verizon has LTE. It has a good amount of coverage. So I went with Verizon, and LTE is just amazing. It's literally like having a home broadband connection right on your device.
Now, are you unlimited? Are you grandfathered? Or are you tiered?
No, I'm tiered. I'm doing the shared data plan with my parents. So we have, I believe, 4 GB. But the thing is that you can actually use Wi-Fi on these devices now. So that'll actually alleviate a lot of what you do. Like, I'm home a lot, so I don't necessarily need a lot of cellular data usage. I use maybe 50 megabytes a month if I'm actually outside of the house. So for me, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I thought that too, but I have a 30-minute drive to and from work, and I stream a lot of podcasts. I stream a lot of stuff on Groove Shark. Yeah, I probably watch some YouTube videos at the gym, and that adds up. There's one, if you do want to use it. Do you have an iPhone, John?
Yes.
All right, there's something a friend of mine, Aaron, who actually uses Straight Talk. She pointed me to an app that's called, I can't pronounce it, but it's ONAVO. And basically what it does, Onavo, right? Yeah, it compresses your data down. And she says that she's never had a problem and she uses a ton of data. So do you know exactly what this app does for the iPhone?
I believe what it does is that it acts as a proxy so that it'll connect your websites, whatever website you're going to, it'll connect to a proxy where the proxy is already compressing all this data for you and sending it to you in a much smaller compressed format than you would if you just grab that on your own. So what it's doing is the same thing as what we've seen in the past with like the Opera web browser. It'll go through a proxy and it'll just compress that data down into a smaller stream for you.
Yeah, it essentially, I saw it set up and I didn't finish it. It sets up a VPN on your iOS device, and that way you can, I guess that's what the proxy goes through, sets up a virtual private network like that.
So that stuff really works.
According to her, she's had Straight Talk for quite a while, so I would think she would definitely have told me, hey, I need to find another carrier because I just got cut off from Straight Talk. You recommend anything? So I'm assuming that no news is great news, and this app is free. So I would suggest you go ahead. Speaking of free, real quick before we go to the next story, Clear. You familiar with Clear, the productivity app? It's like a task manager for the iPhone.
I read about that today on all the Mac websites, I think.
Yeah, if you're an iPhone user, go to the App Store, look for Clear, CLEAR, and they're partnering up with Starbucks just today, May 8th, till the end of the day, till midnight. I think it's Eastern time, not sure about Pacific or Eastern, but go check it out, because once you go in the App Store on your iPhone, it'll automatically insert a promo code, and you get $2 off, which essentially makes Clear free. And it's an app I've always wanted to try. Not $2, but free. You can't go wrong. And it is an amazing, beautiful app. Colm has been using it for a while, and I really think for free, it's a great way to get your task and see what to do with them and everything. And if you're somebody that actually likes shopping for free apps every day, I was lucky enough to download App Gratis, which basically, yes, you have that?
I had that in the past, yeah.
You can get it again. They pulled it from the App Store, but they, as anything, once you purchase it off the App Store, you're able to get it. We're going to skip down. We got it in our show notes, but we might as well talk about that because App Gratis is one of those app discovery apps that Apple is cracking down on. And it was a story on MacRumors.com. And basically, I'll quote the, what am I going to quote here? Apple began rejecting the app for feature tools for filtering, bookmarking, searching, and sharing. And I'm quoting, "We've been contacted by one developer whose app discovery tool has recently been blocked by Apple because it includes such features with App Store Regulation 2.25, which restricts apps that could be confused by consumers as app stores in their own right, cited within the reasoning." Yeah, App Gratis is sort of like an app store where every day you have a free application, and they used to send you push notifications, but now you can sign up via email. And even today or yesterday, I got an app, John, at where is it? Amerigo, which is basically I can download any file out of the mobile Safari browser and put it up in Dropbox with this application, and it was free.
Really?
I would never know that existed unless it was for App Gratis. Oh, excuse me, I just ate. Oops, that was That was bad. Sorry. My fault. That's what happens when I talk too much. Do we get a different rating for that? That I burped?
I can. Yeah, sure.
You're going to bleep it
There's an
out?
application called App Shopper that was, I think, one of the first that Apple pulled. And it was one of those app discovery things where you could make a wish list, and it would tell you when that application went on sale. They pulled that, but now they've actually come back, and they've added social features. And this is weird because that article mentions one of their anonymous sources or anonymous developers said that their application that also had social sharing enabled with it was pulled. But App Shopper is a no application that was pulled for app discovery purposes, and then is now back with some sort of social features, which makes it somewhat okay, which I don't necessarily understand why there's still this contradiction of what is acceptable in the App Store for an app that has apps with it. From what I can understand, all it is that you can't do anything that is not about your own apps.
I would think that the app developers would really like the extra exposure from App Gratis, from App Shopper. So, if when they have a price drop, they don't have to be featured in the App Store. This app is actually helping the developers. So, and Apple, I think they've made quite a bit of money off that, and they're not losing any money with these app discovery apps. So I don't know if it's anything in the future that's coming up that they want to corner, but there's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah, and the other thing is that it's just, I don't know, it's bizarre that they're doing this because there's just no set rule of what is okay and what isn't okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's one way to go. You can jailbreak your phone and get every app for free with Installa. So which would Apple rather have? It's their choice. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm just happy I have App Gratis here every day. It's a morning routine now to look and see what great finds I can get for free. And they do the App Shopper thing on here on App Gratis too. If there's some like 60, 70% off, that's also in the bottom part of the application. So not too bad there. I think we're going to go next to it since we're talking about the iPhone. We're going to be really, really Apple heavy in this, which we usually are, but much more this time because there's Apple rumors, John. The first one is not a rumor. It's a result. T-Mobile sells 500,000 iPhones in less than a month. I mean, I get the impression a lot of T-Mobile customers were waiting for the iPhone to come to T-Mobile without getting subpar edge speeds. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. T-Mobile is one of those carriers. It's GSM, so you can basically get a SIM card and use it in any unlocked phone that you have, which makes it very appealing to a large customer base out there that want to just go from carrier to carrier. They don't necessarily want to be tied into anybody, but they want to take advantage of the low cost that T-Mobile has.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking about with the prepaid experiment, which T-Mobile with the uncarrier plans really falls into that category. And concerning this iPhone 5, you have a little more knowledge with technology specs than I do. With these brand new unlocked models, and that supposedly this brand new T-Mobile iPhone 5 has every band in it, I could essentially buy this thing, which is $70 or $80 cheaper than the unlocked version at the Apple Store. This is $579 off contract and can get it unlocked from T-Mobile. It's $649 plus tax on Apple and AT&T's website. Could I essentially save money and get this T-Mobile phone and then bring it over to AT&T and have the LTE bands on that phone?
It's unlikely because AT&T and T-Mobile, if I'm not mistaken, run different frequencies than what Verizon and Sprint do. So if I'm correct in this, and I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that in order to get access to those higher LTE speeds, you have to have the carrier-branded device because they are just so specific with what frequencies that you're using to use their LTE network on. So you could theoretically get like HSPA Plus, which is faster than 3G, but that's going to be the max that you can get.
Yeah. I'm looking right here. It has HSPA Plus on AWS bands, which is what's missing from the unlocked phones that you have before that new model came out. And also has HD voice, which doesn't mean anything because you have to have HD voice on both ends, and it's the only phone that has that. I'm looking right here. This was my question because you can buy an unlocked phone. Now, the new model, and it's a long A something 74 A at the end or whatever, that one can be used on AT&T and T-Mobile. That's why I'm wondering, this T-Mobile phone is rumored to have the same model number as the unlocked one. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm on a saving spree with this PR40. I could save another $70 or so on an iPhone 5.
Right.
I mean, who knows? I have
And
to
it's
check
already
with that.
expensive to own an iPhone with some of the plans that are out there. You're looking at spending, if you want an iPhone, you're basically going to spend at least $100 a month.
It depends. I mean, if you're on the T-Mobile network, you can get for $70 a month. If you buy it outright, $70 a month, you can get an unthrottled data speeds with very little coverage. If that's what you choose to have, they still don't have the coverage for
sacrifices. There's pros and cons to, you can go with T-Mobile with an iPhone. It's just that it just comes down to that they don't necessarily have the largest LTE network right now. I mean, they are building it out with Metro PCS, and in the long run, it's probably going to be a very good LTE network to be on.
Yeah, now I'm obsessed. I've searched for this on 3 different episodes. Here it is right here. So here's the skinny. This is from Macworld. So here's the skinny, and it's the same site I looked at the last 2 times I've quoted it, so people are probably familiar with this. So here's the skinny. If you own an iPhone 5 and you're on AT&T and any other carrier, you use the GM-based A1428 model, you're most likely in luck. Assuming that you can convince your carrier to unlock the phone, a tough proposition given that the most iPhone 5 customers that don't apply to me because I would pay full price. Apple tells Macworld that you can take your iPhone 5 to T-Mobile and get full LTE speeds on the carrier's network. The same goes for the unlocked iPhone 5 that Apple sells, which is the same A1428 model. That's pretty attractive if you buy the phone outright and get it unlocked, or even go to Apple and say, hey, I want an unlocked phone for the same exact price as a no-contract AT&T phone. Now I have 2 networks to pick from, maybe 4, because Straight Talk on AT&T or T-Mobile, and also Simple Mobile, which is T-Mobile's prepaid network. It's pretty attractive to get that.
Yeah, and they're running some great specials right now. My Take Radio's Rich just said that he went to T-Mobile and got a couple of iPhones for him and his wife this week.
Nice. How's it working out? I mean, yeah, put in the chat room. Let us know how it's working out for you, because a lot of people are saying that they're not getting the speeds anywhere close to what they thought they would, and the coverage, but that'll come with time. I mean, you got a great deal. You're not even locked in if you choose not to be, unless, of course, we talked about that little I don't know, misrepresentation where they said no contracts, but if you buy this iPhone for $99, you have a 24-month contract. So it kind of, if you did that, Rich, then you're under contract. You don't know it.
Yeah, he says it works well thus far.
Thus far. Good for him. Well, which plan? We'll check back with him, see what plan he has. Put in the chat room, Rich, what plan you have. Because, I even thought about going with the $30 plan, which is 5 gigs of unthrottled data, 100 minutes. Put the SIM card in the Nexus 4 and basically use Google Voice or Talkatone or Magic Jack to make my calls and use all the calls over data. And essentially for $30 a month, I get unlimited everything. So it's $15 cheaper than the Straight Talk plan.
Yeah.
It's not a bad plan. I'm still scared to do it.
Just basically, I do a lot of homework if you want to try and save money going to a carrier and a cell phone, especially these smartphones now that just, they suck up so much money with their data plans now. They've rolled in all these plans now where you get unlimited talk and unlimited text, unlimited messaging now, and they're just now kind of in a way charging you an arm and a leg for the data now if you aren't doing your due diligence and finding a plan that works out well for you.
Yeah, that's why grandfather unlimited data plans are like they're like unicorns. They are. I mean, I'm not letting it go for anything. Not right now, at least. Let me ask you this. I never asked you this because we don't really talk. This is the first time you and I have really spoke at length about Apple products or iPhones. I didn't even know you had an iPhone. You strike me kind of like an Android type user or somebody who likes to tinker with their stuff.
Ugh.
No?
No. You know, I used to be into that stuff. What's that?
You had your fill of the pre-show? It's your fill of tinkering with the pre-show?
Yeah, well, in 2007, I went in and I got a BlackBerry. And you know what? That was great at the time for 2007. It was, when the king smartphones that you could get is a BlackBerry Curve, and that was great. I mean, I could tinker with it. You could install leaked operating systems, which was great. It wasn't, the funnest experience doing that, but you could do it, and you could get the latest operating system that has all the latest bug fixes. But after doing that for about 3 years, it got really old, and that's the same feeling I get with Android, is that I just have to do so much tweaking in order to set it up exactly the way I want. It just doesn't come out anywhere close to what I want out of the box. So I have to do all these things, and I don't really care to do custom ROMs or anything like that. I just want something that I can pick up. It has great internet on it, has a great browser, has great applications, and I don't have to do a whole lot to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if you're cursed with the same 3% curse that I have, where I buy the defective model of every product that I buy. That's why I started the T4 show, because I always bought something and had to, troubleshoot and figure it out and learn technology. Well, your iPhone 5 is giving you that trouble?
No, but I'll tell you, this is literally the second phone that I've ever had in the last 6 years.
Wow.
I got my BlackBerry in 2007, and I did not get this iPhone 5 until November of last year.
You were on a BlackBerry the entire time?
Yeah.
The entire time? Oh, my God.
Well, I'm home all day, so it's like it wasn't that big of a deal to not have some of those features. I mean, I don't necessarily, go out of the house for a length of time like you do. Like, you go out, you work, you do the gym stuff, you have a decently long commute. So I don't have any of that stuff, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me.
That's a good point. But I will tell you this, there's lots of people in the chat room saying, like Ron Knight says, I just want Apple devices. They work for me with no fuss. I like that part. And on the other end, warranty support. Like I said, I get cursed with this 3% bug. So I'll always have something happen to the phone, or some kind of glitch or some hardware defect. It's great that I can drive 20 minutes to the Apple store and really not get the runaround, and they just hand me a new phone, a new iPad, and put a new $719 display in my MacBook Pro. I mean, that kind of stuff is time is money, and also the fact that money is money, because I usually don't pay for these swaps. I usually don't pay for the warranty support, and that's what makes Apple Care even more attractive to me. I like Android, but I don't feel like I got a value. I still have the iPhone 4S, which now with the update to 613 is fast again. It's sped up. With Android, I feel like the second I buy it, it's like, wow, once I buy this a couple weeks from now, this thing is going to be not obsolete, but the next iteration of whatever the HTC phone's going to be called, or the S4 or whatever. I just don't feel very secure with my, what do I call it with Apple the total cost of ownership. And I don't feel like I get that total cost of ownership from Android devices.
And generally, it's up to the carriers to issue the operating systems, the new updates for operating systems, whereas Apple takes a direct approach. They cut out the carrier, which is a big issue into why you generally don't see a lot of updates for Android devices or any devices other than the iPhone.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that brings me to my question. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a Google TV, which is currently out, and I don't know what in the hell it does, or would you have the rumored Apple Television, not the Apple TV, the Apple Television, that now they are rumored that Foxconn is going to start producing as early as the summer? How do you feel about that?
I think we kind of have to have more information about this Apple TV device. It's been rumored for so long, but we don't really have any sort of information. They have an Apple TV device now that's like a Roku that you just hook up to your TV. But
I love it. Yeah.
Is an Apple TV just going to be like an Apple Retina display plus the Apple TV device all in one type of deal?
I'm not sure, but whatever they do, I mean, you think about it. There's Mac Rumors has that rumor, has the rumor that we have in the show notes saying that the iPad Mini Retina production that's starting June or July. We also have the iPhone 5S or 6, whatever they're going to call it. They said that's going to be. I mean, are they just going to throw these three things at us at the same time? And they're also, thinking about the iWatch and others. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know if they're going to stagger, because it makes it interesting. Maybe the iPad Mini Retina will not come out for Christmas, but this TV for the price, John, don't you think they have to release it for Christmas? Because no one's going to have money in January.
Well, not only that, but if they do something in June with WWDC, they could release, maybe an iPad Mini Retina in June. So if they do that, well, then what sense does it make to have a huge Apple TV device? Plus, there's just so much that they still have to do for Apple TV. It just doesn't necessarily make sense that they would announce an Apple TV device just yet.
I agree. What I think they should do is really try to upgrade the Apple TV that we have, the little black hockey puck, and make it a central hub for the movies, for the music, for the photos, and iOS games. Yeah. I mean, really across the board, not just AirPlay stuff to the Apple TV, but really create an experience and be able to have gaming on the Apple TV, because I think that's the way to go without making a huge major step that's super expensive for the consumer and will just make the App Store. If you thought people bought stuff from the App Store now, oh my goodness, right?
Well, I think that's kind of the next step in some of this stuff, is bridging the gap, because we've made these devices now, the Roku and an Apple TV, for about 3 years now. We've had a few generations of these things. And what we've seen so far is that they can build a pretty decent device. But what do we have to do now to take it to the next level? What can we integrate with this? And the only thing that really does make sense is that you have to add gaming to this device. Gaming on iOS devices is a very big market. Being able to play some of that stuff like Angry Birds, or they have, they have some really great, awesome games now on iOS. Not just like the Angry Birds type, but actually serious games that you can play. And be able to do that on your TV, I think would definitely elevate iPhone and iOS software to a whole new generation.
I agree. Guess what I just downloaded today? Injustice Gods Among Us is a free-to-play iOS game and looks amazing. And I don't know if you can play it. Yeah, it really does. It's free to play. It's a pretty big game, so you may not want to download it over your Wi-Fi during the show. But I think you're right. I think they need to go somewhere with that. And there you go. I can't wait. I asked you off air before the show. Colm was supposed to review this game. I've been watching gameplay videos that have played out like my pick of the week every week, Justice League on Netflix. It's an insane. I'm not a Mortal Kombat guy, but this game with the storyline and the weapons and everything that's true to the Justice League universe, it just is amazing from what I've seen, and I can't wait to pick this game up. I just feel weird because I got Fire Pro Returns, I got NFL 2K5. I don't want to overload myself with these games that I feel like I have to play. Oh, there's Batman. What do you feel about the armor? They kind of armored everybody up. Do you like that?
I do. It kind of gives it a nice grungy feel to it, which I think looks really cool.
Man, Wonder Woman looks like she's on some growth. That's crazy. Look at that. It's a beautiful game. It looks great. I think the only reason I haven't bought it yet is because it's more like Mortal Kombat. It's a lot of different button smashing type things. But if any game I'm going to buy that's close to Mortal Kombat, I think it's going to be this one. And you're not a gamer. I know you're not a gamer.
No, I'm not, but I do follow a lot of the stuff that's out there. Like I see that there's a very serious gaming market now for iOS. There's been some really cool games. I mean, we're talking about, Quake back in the 90s was such a huge game. And now we're kind of able to have graphics that are even better than what we had with Quake in the 90s on our iOS device, our little iPhones, which is really cool.
Yeah, when I started this game up, guess what engine the game's using on the iOS device? The Unreal Engine.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Never thought I'd see the Unreal Engine logo on a phone. That proves how far we've come. That's crazy. So, yeah, we're going to talk. Now we're in the home stretch. We're going to talk mostly about video games, and the last thing is going to be something I know that you're interested in as well as me. But I want to give everybody an update on the Game Capture HD from Elgato. It was a little clunky at first, especially when I was using the PS3. And if you haven't done video game recording, the PS3 has the HDMI pretty much locked down, but the Game Capture gives you an AV cable that plugs into the back, and you can still do HDMI pass-through on the other side to your television set. And after the clunky way of trying to set if you ever tried to change your video settings on the PS3, John, or anybody in the chat room, you would know how much of a nightmare that is. But once you get it set up, it's all plug and play. And the Xbox 360, on the other hand, is completely plug and play. HDMI pass through, very easy. And I found myself streaming and recording video games. Actually, I interrupted the Bald Truth, I think, one of my first streams. I forgot that I was on the GFQ network too. I see Spencer there, and I went all of a sudden the Fire Pro.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even meet this guy yet. Now he's pissed off at me. But anyway, that was it. It was just plug and play, record. You can export the iMovie Final Cut into your movies folder, right to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It is basically a one-stop shop. So all you got to do once you get it hooked up is play the game, hit record. And even if you hit record late, John, it's got a flashback thing of 10, 12 seconds. So if you missed that move or that touchdown, you can go back, hit the record button, and catch that. It's always caching at 10 to 12 seconds, I think. You see it right there. You can do flashback recording, and it is amazing. I use my Turtle Beach headset with the Xbox 360. I can listen to the gameplay in full. I think it's 5.1 on that, and I can voice it over with live commentary. What happens is there's a 2 to 3 second delay on the software on your Mac. So I'm watching the TV and I'm commentating, and the delay from the video and the delay from my commentary are synced up. It's pretty damn cool for under $200.
My Take Radio, Rich in the chat room says he's got one of those too that he uses for game capturing. So I think I saw you use this the other day, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
This is somebody. My old workflow, it was insane. I didn't have a PC, so I couldn't use the Roxio one, which was supposedly very popular for PC gamers or people that wanted to use PC to capture console gaming. But my old workflow was this. First of all, I started with Wirecast, so you can assume right there that it's going to be different every time I do it. Use my intensity extreme. What's that?
Oh, nothing. I'm just laughing at your whole process.
Wirecast Desktop Presenter. I had to use Desktop Presenter because it came up on the iTV software. So there's 3 different pieces of software running. And then I get the intensity extreme and plug it in Thunderbolt. And sometimes it doesn't work, but I have to unplug it, replug it, restart Wirecast. I mean, you've dealt with Wirecast, dealt with all this stuff with the settings. Sometimes you have to reboot it because it uses up so much resource on your Mac. So compare that to the fact that even with the PS3, I was up and running in less than 15 minutes. With the Xbox 360, I timed it. 3 minutes, 40 seconds, I was playing and recording. If that's not a testimonial, I don't know what it is. For less money than the Intensity Extreme, plus Wirecast, plus the iTV software. It's all amazing. That. Yeah. And I'm almost feeling like I'm jinxing myself because it's working perfectly, and I don't want to do anything to mess it up. But it really is like Elgato used to be the PVR, the DVR that I would use with my Mac. Now they're recording my video games. It's DVR for my console gaming, and they do a pretty. I mean, if you go back to what I did with the tutorial, the fact that you can even automatically reduce the sound on the game so your voice is evenly matched over. You don't even have to mess with your mixer or your mic. You can use a USB mic. It's pretty. I can't think of a simpler way to record, stream, and pretty much share all your gaming.
What's great about this is that I'm an impatient man. I don't like to have when I get something new, I want to use it. I don't want to sit there for an hour, figuring out how to use this, getting it set up, getting it configured, and there's an issue with it. I hate that. So having something that's this simple to set up and configure is really awesome. Plus, it also has those advanced features that just make it so much better. So if you do want to do something that's more advanced than just simply capturing or talking over it, it has those features with it.
Oh, I can. I mean, I can't gush over it enough of how good it feels to be sitting there and just voicing it over and laughing, enjoying it, and not have to keep looking to your right to see, oh my God, did the app crash, or am I at 96% CPU? Am I, what's going on? And it's very, if the screen is up there and it's playing and I can see the levels of my mic in the game, I know I'm good. That's so simple. So
that should be all you need to see.
Yeah. My Take Radio asked, how does it feel doing commentary beforehand? It's fine. Because I have the headset on. And obviously I can't monitor my microphone, Rich. So basically I got the headset on with the game and I'm listening to the game sound, and I just make sure that I'm not too close to the mic, get my levels right, and then I'm off to the races. I hit record and I'm fine. So it's really just that easy. And I have a mixer and all this other stuff. If you have a USB mic, it's got to be a ton easier to use. The only thing I would recommend, John, if somebody has a USB mic and they're using this with USB and a keyboard, and I have it hooked up to my LED cinema display, you could run into bandwidth issues with USB. So I wouldn't recommend doing a USB mic with the all the other USB stuff you have plugged in. Yeah, My Take Radio, Rich says he uses audio at Sony Vegas. I would do it. I would do the live commentary. It's very easy. Or I would even use something like Audacity or GarageBand and then sync it up and then plug it into a video editor. But you don't need to do that. It's really you're doing what I did. You made it too hard initially, so it's much easier when you get it running. Cool. I think
got to make sure that you're a good talker too, and you're not having to go back and fix your mistakes, your flubs, all your F-bombs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't do that. I have to actually have Jessica Zarian's voice with hot dog or something over. Is that what you guys bleep my first words with?
Yeah.
Should I announce now that I'm working for Elgato? No, I'm not really. I'm just kidding. I sound like a guy. I almost curse. I sound like they're evangelists. But you know what? I'll tell you what I'm not an evangelist of right now with this recent announcement is that the next gen EA games are going to skip the WiiU, which has been on my radar for a long time. But every time I hear a WiiU story, John, I say I'm not going to even bother with it. So, and you said you wanted to weigh in on this. How do you feel about EA games saying, nah, we're not going to, we got next gen games coming out, but we're not going to make them for the Wii U?
I'm a little bit indifferent on this, but I can kind of see their point in this, in the sense that the Wii U really has been one of those consoles that just really has never taken off. Nintendo has struggled with this. Even before they launched it, they had issues with this. So it's kind of like, I understand where they're going with this. In a way, it's like the smartphone market, where every app developer wants to develop their application first for the iPhone and iPad, and then move on to, Windows Phone, Android, and maybe BlackBerry, if they really want to be adventurous in that. So I kind of see that in the same boat as that, where they're going to concentrate on where they can get the most bang for their buck first. And maybe down the road, they decide they want to do Wii U. Maybe it'll benefit them to do something Wii U in the future. But as it stands now, with the Wii U market the way it is, it just doesn't make much sense for them to spend the resources to do just Wii U games plus everything else, where they can just concentrate on, something else.
Didn't Nintendo bring that on themselves, though? I mean, it was pretty much, you're a kid on Christmas Day, and Colm is very much like a kid on Christmas Day. Imagine Colm opening up the Wii U, which he did, and goes to play, is so happy and excited, and then he's greeted and treated to 2 hours of a downloaded update. That actually is a lot slower because everybody on Christmas morning is trying to get this update to play a game. And I didn't know if you know this, but Colm, like a lot of young children, is very impatient and doesn't want to wait 2 hours. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And but 2 hours, even for somebody like me who's very patient, it's, the gamma radiation levels will be at an all-time record high by the end of the 2 or 3 hours. And I am not, that would make me want to take back the Wii U. So that, and then they released an update last week where they said they were going to speed everything up. Andrew told me, Colm told me, I'm sure you heard, it didn't speed anything up. It's just as slow as it was before.
Yeah. And that's what I don't get about the Wii U is that they've had all these things, and they just really have never really been able to make it just work. They've had all these sort of issues, so it's just, to me, it's no wonder why a bigger company like this was going to be like, well, why should we even bother? It's like it's not doing well. Is it even going to survive? Is it going to last another year? Is Nintendo Wii U really going to be something that's here in a year or two? The Wii U was a big hit, I think it was, and they did a pretty good job with that. But the Wii U was completely botched, and it's still being botched.
I think the Wii is an even bigger value now. It's one that I look at and I said, man, I'd like to go get a Wii U, maybe soft modded, throw some emulators for Nintendo, Super Nintendo on there. But more than anything, if you buy the Wii and you get the nunchucks and the controller, 2, 3, 4, however many, and you get Wii Play and Wii Sports, you don't have to buy any other game. They're the greatest party games to play with a bunch of people. And right now, you could probably get all the things I just mentioned for around $100, and it's an awesome value on a system that is Nintendo. It's fun, easy, and enjoyable. The Wii U is none of those things.
Somebody in the chat room earlier tonight even made a good point. Why doesn't Nintendo just kind of make a peace offering and release Mario Kart for iOS? I think that would be a great game to have on an iOS, or even Android would be fun to play that on.
What about if Nintendo became what Sega became instead of Sega? I love the Sega Dreamcast. I like the Saturn. I love the Sega consoles. I thought they were very good. They became a software company, and I think they became infinitely more profitable because they don't have to worry about quality control on hardware, just making software. If Nintendo did that and released on iOS, Android, Xbox, PS3, all the Mario, all the games that have been out forever, how much money do you think they would make?
That's a good question, because it almost comes down to the same thing as, BlackBerry, where they were. It's a company that's having a very bad time in the press. And so is that something that they can overcome eventually? Is that something that, a year from now, we're going to look back and say, well, you know what, this whole Wii U thing, it wasn't that bad. They were finally able to turn things around. Or is it just going to keep getting worse for them until they figure out what the heck to do?
I think when the Xbox and the PS4 bring second screen experience, every advantage the Wii U had with that controller with the screen is gone, because they're not going to put it. What is it? A very low res VGA. What is it? Capacitive is the old version of touchscreen, or is it? I'm trying to think of whatever the last generation version of touchscreen. It's not even multi-touch on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So it's a very cheap technology they put into the second screen experience. The only attractive part to the Wii U that made me want to say, I want that, but then I thought to myself, no, and I'll tell you why, was that I can have the system off and the TV on something else and play with the controller. But then I realized I have a PS Vita. What the hell do I need to do that for?
Like I said, it's sad, because Nintendo was one of those companies that has been just a legend in the gaming world. It's something that nobody wants to see fail. Nobody wants to see Nintendo just absolutely fail. But that's kind of what they're doing right now.
It seems like Nintendo wants to see Nintendo fail the way they're acting. I don't think they're doing anything in their best interest to make the consumers happy. They're actually counting on the Colms and the Bretts and everybody else that I'm friends with that wants to think back to their childhood, just like I did with Fire Pro Returns on PS3 and even the ESPN 2K5. It brought back childhood memories. So I understand where Nintendo fans are coming from. But the games I just mentioned are really good and fun and easy, and there's no load times. These games, the 2K5 is how many years old? 8 years old, and I have less load times on that than I do on the Wii U.
That's pretty sad.
Yes,
do you think that Nintendo can turn themselves around?
I think if the Wii U does not be a success on the level they want it to, they have to go in the software direction, which I don't believe they will. I think the 3DS is a great product. The 3DS XL is pretty cool. If you're going to go for a portable, if you're going to go for either Wii U or the 3DS XL, I would say 3DS XL. That would be my choice. So, or Vita. I mean, portable wise, Vita is just, I think it's an amazing value. The PS Plus for $50 a year, getting all the 18 games for free, and one's released almost every week or month. I think it's a great value, and the PS Vita has got new life in it with the PS4. But Nintendo, my final answer on that is software. Do you agree? If they license the software across everything, and you don't have to play it on an emulator, you can pay 99 cents or $5 or whatever and play the full experience of the game, they'll make a lot of money. I said that before.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't do that, then they really do have to come out and hit it out of the park with whatever they come out next hardware-wise. And that's very questionable as to whether or not they can actually do something like that. If they come out with another hardware product, are they going to be able to smash it out of the park? Where the Wii U, which is a complete disaster. The Wii U was pretty good. The Wii U was a complete failure so far. So their next hardware-related product, is that going to be something that is kind of like their savior, like with BlackBerry Z10 was? It's kind of like the same thing.
Don't. I would not make that analogy. They're dead in the water.
No?
You say they're going to go like BlackBerry did. Wow. It's
BlackBerry
over.
is holding their own still, I think. And I'm a little surprised about that, too, because I thought the BlackBerry Z10 was not going to be as good as it is. And I think the fact that it has a really good camera in it helps it out a lot, because there's just so many Android devices out there that have such crappy cameras that, I don't like Android as it is, so I'm going to go for something that's going to have a good camera. And so my other alternative is, BlackBerry, because they have a really good camera in it. So that's something that I'm somewhat familiar with. So I could see myself possibly going back to BlackBerry because of the camera.
But no apps.
Yeah, but then again, it's one of those things. that can be easily remedied. That's something that they could, 6 months from now, turn it around. There's enough apps that will satisfy people that want to use a BlackBerry device. It'll have the essentials that everybody needs. That's just where it is now, is that they're always slow with, nobody wants to develop it. It's the same thing as, EA not wanting to develop for the Wii U. It's the same thing. It's one of those devices that, because BlackBerry was down for so long, people stopped caring about BlackBerry. They stopped developing for BlackBerry because there was no point in developing for BlackBerry.
All I got to say, one last point, is they better release it before the 5S comes out, or they're not going to. It's not going to happen. An upgraded camera on the iPhone will beat the BlackBerry one, so they better hurry up. Now, we talked about gaming. We jumped back and forth with the BlackBerry stuff. But Colm and Andrew, I don't know if Andrew has, but Colm has been streaming a lot on the new GFQ gaming channel on Twitch.tv. Have you been on there yet?
I've looked at it, yeah.
That's right, you're not a gamer. So we're going to
Dota on it the other day.
Yeah, but we're gonna, now that I have this whole setup with the Game Capture HD from Elgato, I can pretty much go right to the GFQ gaming, and I plan to do that. I think streaming games and interacting with the chat room and really seeing whatever experience, and I need all the walkthrough help I can get. I'm tired of stopping the game and looking through YouTube videos. So join me in the chat room, and you be my walkthrough video and tell me where to go next, because that's the only way that I can finish a game. I have no gaming skills on my own whatsoever. So, yeah, outside of sports games, if I play, I was so happy that the only game I've ever finished in my life, the only game, was my favorite game of all time, and that's Batman Arkham City. And I finished it without basically much of a walkthrough, and it was an amazing game. So I'm going to go back and play it again on Game Plus. But, yeah, GFQ Gaming, go to twitch.tv/GFQ Gaming, and we don't have a link up at gfq.com yet, do we? I'm looking at it right now. We don't have a Twitch thing.
We're working on a logo for this.
Oh, that's right. That's your job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything's your job, pretty much.
Yeah, I am GFQ.
Oh, don't let Andrew call him. Thinks he's GFQ right now. He thinks he's GQ too, but he's wrong on both accounts.
Never listen to this.
No, nobody. Yeah, the people that are on the show don't listen to it.
I'll just edit it out anyway. So
just throw Jessica in there saying hot dog for 2 minutes straight. But I have a very important question for you. She's a pretty girl. I'm like, yeah. Well, T4 show has been officially taken off the GFQ network with that remark. So thank you very much. It's been a good time. But I have a very important question before Andrew throws me off the network. Are you a Trekkie or a Trekker? It's a very important question. And if you are one or the other, you'll know exactly what I mean.
What's the difference? I'm not sure what the difference is.
I'm glad you asked. A Trekkie is a person that likes the original story. It's a generational thing. So when someone says they're a Trekkie, you know that they grew up watching the original Star Trek with Captain Kirk and Spock and those people. When you hear Trekker, it's usually, even though all the iterations after that are sort of in that universe, it's basically the next generation. Now, I've always been considered myself a Trekker, Trekker, because I love the next generation. It's my favorite. Then it's Enterprise. I like Voyager. Then the original. Then I don't really like Deep Space Nine. So if that makes any sense to the Trekkie world or Trekker world, I love Star Trek. And I always wanted to be, I don't know about you, but I always wanted to be a Star Trek action figure. Now, I have 6 or 7 wrestling action figures. If you think that's good enough, but no, I'm very ungrateful, and I want a Star Trek one. But now there's a way, and you want that, don't you? You were interested when you saw this.
Absolutely. I would consider myself a Trekkie. I've seen all of the series, and I think Voyager is the best, and I know there's going to be so many people that disagree with me about that, but to me, I really liked Voyager. But I can see the charm in every single one, except for maybe Enterprise. That one was just kind of, I didn't quite follow what they were doing with it. It was just bizarre.
I think they were right. I think because they were getting canceled, they kind of rushed everything towards the end. Yeah. It could have had a little bit more, you think about it, Star Trek Next Generation wasn't good until season 3. Voyager wasn't good maybe until the last 2 to 3 seasons as well. I mean, it really picked up. But it takes about 2 or 3 years to emotionally invest in these characters. They really are no connection for the first couple seasons. You have to kind of toughen your way through it. At least I thought so with the 2 things you're talking about, Voyager and
They generally change so much between season 1 and season 2.
Absolutely, I agree. But you know what won't change? If you get your very own Star Trek figure for $70 from 3D Systems, so basically,
this thing is awesome.
For $70, it's basically a lot. I think it's based a lot on what I did when I had my action figure made with the facial scan and everything. And it's essentially 3D printing for an action figure, and they can make it into a Star Trek character. And I can't say enough about it. I just want it. I don't know if it's a Kickstarter or if it's real. There's a bunch of videos on Engadget.com that you can look at. There's even, they got it doing the Star Trek thing like I have in my Skype profile pic.
Look at this. He's holding a phaser.
Yeah, holding the phaser. They're making it's really done pretty well for $70. And I think this used to be a lot more expensive for other things, but 3D printing's made it pretty affordable. $70, I don't think it's I would think there's going to be a backlog. And, we're not, if we order today, we'll probably have to wait months for them to make our figure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would definitely want one of these just for the sake of having one. Wouldn't you just want to have one just for the sake of having one?
Oh, wow.
I mean, who doesn't? What guy doesn't go around wanting their own action figure of themselves? It doesn't matter if you're a Star Trek person or whatever person you are. You want your own action figure.
Well, here's the litmus test. I have action figures of myself, and I still want this one. No, not of course. I'm just saying. I'm just giving another testimonial. By the way, I'm working for 3D Systems. I just got a job. No, I'm kidding. I'm looking at it right here. Basically, it converts your image into a 3D model, imported into the company's software, and then print it out using the Project 660 Pro, which is a 3D printer. It's a rebrand of the high-end device that the Engadget saw at Portland Studios, printing out faces for the then forthcoming stop-motion feature Paranorman. So this is based on something that made the Paranorman movie, if you're interested in cartoon movies.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The printer is capable of rendering objects in immensely high resolution, far more than you've been seeing on those consumer printers you've heard so much about. So go to Engadget.com. I don't have the link here for 3D Systems. Let me see here. Nope. Engadget likes when you click on a link, you go to Engadget's other articles. So, yeah, just look it up. Look up 3D Systems Star Trek figure, and you'll probably be able to bring up the site. Pretty cool. So we can basically, you definitely want a Star Trek action figure, huh?
Now, what if you have a bear gut? Now, do they make the action figure with a bear gut as well, or is it just like a generic body, and it's just your face that they do the 3D stuff to?
I would think that this is not a body scan. They haven't even gotten that far really with the wrestling or any of the action figures. I think they just started that in the past couple of years. That would be extremely complicated, because then you get all, not just your gut and your biceps, but also other parts of you that may bulge out more than others, if you know what I mean. Or may not. I'm 41. I got a lot of issues going on. So maybe you won't have the bulge that you plan on. Maybe you can request one. I don't know. We're going down a really bad rat hole now. Why don't we talk about Netflix? That's great. Put up the Netflix banner, John. Please. I'm not ordering it around like it does me. Please put the Netflix banner up. So Netflix is, how can I say it? Netflix has been my go-to, not only at home, where I watch it on my Xbox 360, which I must say I love the fact that it goes right to the next episode. I don't have to manually come out of that and go to the next episode. Apple TV doesn't do that, but still, it's a great interface. I have an Apple TV in my house, a PS3, and Xbox 360, and of course my iOS devices. And it's great that I can go and watch, of course, my pick of just about every week anymore, Justice League. I've been watching both seasons on there over and over again. I love it. I don't know if my girlfriend loves it, because I fall asleep to the Justice League every night before I go to bed on Netflix, and I dream that I'm in the Justice League, and I wake up and, I'm not Batman. So it's kind of disappointing when I wake up. But anyway, Netflix makes all that possible for just $8 a month. It makes you imagine that you are a superhero. Is that enough of a testimonial? And if you go to, this is the worst read ever. If you go to netflix.com/GFQ, you get 30 days for free, and you won't have to listen to this stupid read. You can pretty much have uninterrupted, on-demand video without listening to me botch the commercial on GFQ Network. So what's your pick of the week, John?
My pick of the week is a program that I believe a lot of nerds and geeks are really into. It's called Doctor Who. It's one of those shows that came back in 2005 on BBC. It's a British show, and it's something that if you've never seen it before, you kind of got to start from the beginning to really kind of understand where it is and where it goes. You can jump into it on later seasons, but I think you really do need to start off with where it started off in 2005. It's such a great show. It's about basically a time traveler that basically genocided his entire race of Time Lords. But he always has these companions. Some of them are hot. I won't deny that. Some of them are hot. And it's just it's got really good writing. Some of it is very dark, but some of it is just also very funny. Some of the characters they have are it's very interesting, some of the interaction that they have with it. It's one of those shows that if you're definitely a geek, you're really into British shows, this is like one of the best British shows out there. I'm not a huge fan of British shows, but Doctor Who is one of those must-have shows that I definitely have to see whenever I can get it. And one of the only ways that you can get it if you're in the United States and you're not subscribed to BBC America is through Netflix. Netflix has Doctor Who, which is really cool. So if you want to watch it, you can go to netflix.com/GFQ and sign up.
I have a question, and I've dabbled in Doctor Who. It was on PBS for many years when I was growing up. What is the situation where they had many different doctors? How did that work? Do you know
Basically,
what I mean?
You're talking about the regeneration, right?
Yeah, I always missed that part of the episode where every time I looked, there was always the curly-haired guy, the old guy. The guy they have now is pretty young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
But what it happens is that when the doctor is mortally wounded, like he can survive a lot of things, he can regenerate to a degree on his own. But when his body is so damaged that it cannot repair itself, it regenerates into this new form. And you get it basically a new doctor. It's always a humanoid type of person. And, they make them completely different. So it's very interesting to see how the Doctor changes from one season to the other season after they regenerate.
Nice. So I can watch the Netflix version from episode 1, and it's basically on par, or I'm not missing anything by not going way back to watch the PBS version.
No, I would never go back. I've watched a couple of the episodes from like the way back when, but I think the series from 2005 on is pretty interesting. It's just done so much better than what Doctor Who ever was before, because it's just so much has changed since then in filmmaking. It's just so much more entertaining, and the writing is so much better too.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm gonna add that to my instant queue. So that'll be very, very good. So anybody, I would recommend putting that and the Justice League, and I have the Justice League Unlimited as well, which will be my future pick. Just go to netflix.com/GFQ, 30-day free trial, but you're going to sign up $8 a month, John. Come on, for the streaming. It's a pretty amazing deal. So,
right. And if you have a whole bunch of family members and you all want to get on Netflix, you all have your own computer, or you have a computer, an iPad, and a TV, you can sign up for the family plan, which I think is $12.95, and it allows you to do 4 streams. So you can have 4 different Netflix shows or movies playing at the same time, and you could all be watching whatever it is that you want to watch.
Yeah, you're right. You know that me and Colm share Netflix. Is that really weird?
No.
He's on my Netflix account as my spouse.
The only thing that's weird about that is that now his likes are your likes and your likes are his likes.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So
That's
real a mishmash of, there might be something that, like, let's say that Colm goes on a whole kick about wrestling documentaries. Now you have all these wrestling documentaries showing up.
Yeah, we all know how much I like that. We all know how much I like seeing that in my Netflix queue. That's one of my favorite things in the whole world to see when I try to find. Yeah, that's right. He's got all the stuff that I do for a living in my queue, and I'm looking for all the stuff his son watches, like Sesame Street and cartoons and everything. That's the stuff I like to watch with the cats. So thanks a lot, Colm. We're going to have to figure out an update to get rid of that. But, I want to thank everybody for their patience. I had a great time on the show. First time we were on the show together, John. I think it turned out really well, and hopefully the people in the chat room do. Thank everybody for being patient. Thank you for three technical outages during the episode, but I think it all turned out well. And just make sure you visit us. Go to guysfromqueens.com or gfq.com. Also, you can go to the live page and see all this content, and make sure to catch all the great shows on GFQ Network, which may include one of the people in the chat room, and we're not going to say that, but he might be bringing 3 hours of content to the GFQ Network, which we look forward to. So follow you at Suncast. That's Suncast with a K. Follow me at Michael Manna. But for now, for everybody here at the T4 Show on the GFQ Network, thank you. Best luck in all your future Netflix sharing endeavors.